What is going on, guys? Matthew V. Haynes here, aka the Clockmaster. Welcome to the first episode of ArrowVerse Showdown. Alright guys, so I'm trying something new here. Basically, every week my goal is to analyze or do a basic recap of all of the four main ArrowVerse shows from Supergirl all the way down to Arrow, and analyze them and then see which one comes out on top every week. So which episode of that week will be the best episode. So we're gonna start things off with Supergirl. Now before I get into that, guys, please make sure to subscribe if this happens to be one of your first videos of mine. Check out some of the other stuff as well. If you're new on the channel, look around. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some stuff here for you to like. Alright guys, so we're gonna do a basic recap of Season 3, Episode 2 of Supergirl. So this episode did really well with analyzing a lot of the internal problems that Supergirl had. We had the villain of Psi appear, and she showed up and really tackled a lot of things. More of a mental battle than more of a physical battle that Kara had faced in that episode. We also got the introduction of a brand new character, girl, continuing her storyline from last week's episode as well, continuing that, molding her up to be a superhero. A lot of you guys probably don't know, she played, I think, Rain, or that character is known as Rain in the comic books. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing that route with this character specifically on Supergirl, but she's been introduced in some type of way here on the show. We see Lena Luthor purchases Catco, and things are getting kind of crazy over there in the office with her, and it's really just tackling more of Kara's problems that she's having with this episode. And I thought it was some good character moments, a lot of building here. It talked about had a lot of good emotional things that they were tackling in that episode. And all in all, I thought that episode was pretty good. And then we get to Season 4, Episode 2 of The Flash. So Season 4, Episode 2 was kind of a I don't know episode for this week of The Flash. It kind of had a lot of moments that it just felt super confused. It just felt all over the place. Nothing seemed to really stick. There was a lot of differences with characters. For instance, there's even a moment in that episode where Joe was even confused of what was going on with the characters in that episode. Barry's acting completely differently. He's acting like a completely different person. No one, he's not the same Barry that we had from Season 1. He's not the same Barry from Season 2. He's just like a different guy. And then Iris, there's a lot of controversy with her. A lot of people are not really liking her. They're not so much liking a lot of what's going on with her and that character, and there's a hit or miss thing. I really all think, and I've had, discussions about this in the Discord server, which you guys can check in the description box below if you guys want to hop over on Discord and chat. But one of the issues that I brought up is that mainly what's going on with Iris now is simply just improper writing. Okay, the writing is just so bad with what they're trying to do with her, having her say things she shouldn't say, having her do things she shouldn't do, act in a way that is just unreasonable, in a way that doesn't make sense to the story. And so I won't spend too much on Iris, but going to the other characters like Cisco and his moments, my mother said it in our reaction video, he just seems to be super overjoyed and super happy about everything for no reason, just super happy, and nothing's wrong. I enjoyed Cisco from Season 2 of The Flash, and some parts of Season 3 of The Flash, Cisco was well put together, but I've heard a lot of reviewers say this, and a lot of other YouTubers say this, but I think Joe West is probably the only consistent character they have on this show right now. Now, that episode had the opportunity to do so much. It could have take a lot of things from Wally, really build up on him, and I've talked about this vocally so much times about my gripe with having Wally pushed to the sideline and not really getting the limelight. But and I'm going more into ranting. That's not what I was trying to do. The basic episode, man, Iris and Barry, they go to couples therapy, and that was interesting, and we're seeing a lot of moments that focus a lot on the romance side of things. Cisco and Gypsy, they were having a thing, he had to blow off the date with her, and I didn't really so much have an issue with Cisco and Gypsy. I actually want to see him and their relationship develop throughout this season of The Flash, of course, as well. Caitlin comes back, and she kind of has this Hulk thing going on. No one's really exploring it. Just let her back on the team without any questions. Just let her back on the team, not even going to ask her anything about what happened with Killer Frost. None of that. She's just back on the team all of a sudden, and that's that. So enough of Flash. I could go on and on and on about a lot of the issues I had, but there were some good issues. There were some good things as well. They had some really good CGI in some of the moments. There's some really good graphics, some good slow-mo shots. The awesome shot with the car, the awesome shot with him saving Joe and the guy that he was protecting at the precinct. And there was a lot of cool moments in there. There was the risky business scene in the beginning of the episode, which I thought was fun. There was some fun moments of this episode. All in all, it wasn't completely bad. But there's just so much that I could go into about where the direction of the Flash is going right now. The feel and the tone and the whole thing about that episode was just all over the place, and it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. And then you have Season 3, Episode 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. So this episode follows the Legends again trying to go against the Time Bureau and go back and try to fix a lot of their anachronisms that they created by going back and messing up with time again. But the going is a pretty cool freak show episode. They get to face off a Sabretooth, they get to hide them again, and they all participate in the circus. You get half a Firestorm there. Ray Palmer's there. We get to see a lot of what's going on with Nate and Amaya and what happened with them and their storyline, why they weren't together, why she left, tackling some of her new issues, and why she just all of a sudden has this issue about controlling her powers, and she can't do it right now because there's a lot of the animals are taking control of her instead of she controlling them, and to tackle a lot of good episodes. But all in all, it was a pretty fun episode, pretty slow but pretty fun. You introduced towards the end of Kuasa, or Kuasa, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, the villain that's going to be the main villain of this season of Legends of Tomorrow, and I think there's going to be a great contender with this show, and of course interacting with the Time Bureau and Rip Hunter and all these other dynamics and things that are going to be happening with Legends of Tomorrow. So all in all, it was a pretty decent episode. And then we ended off the week with Season 6, Episode 2 of Arrow. So Season 6, Episode 2 of Arrow continues with a lot of the main issues that we had from last week's episode. Were they going to do the same storyline again? Were they going to tackle the same thing with, oh, Oliver's the Green Arrow? What are we going to do? What are we going to do with this? But they handled that in a pretty unique way, which I thought was pretty cool. They blew it off as him being photoshopped or whatever. But the episode starts off with Oliver Queen mentioning Bruce Wayne and as he left Gotham. And there's a lot of things and a lot of theories saying that it's tying in with the current Gotham series, and I don't watch that show, so I don't know too much about what's going on with that. And I know the Gotham show even made a joke about that specific scene in Arrow. But it all started out with them referencing Bruce Wayne and acknowledging Batman in a way on the show. And then that episode follows, had a lot of cool character moments with Oliver and his son William, and of course Anatoly comes back, and there's this whole thing. He goes and he does something else, becoming now a villain. We have this FBI agent that's coming in, and she's just, being a typical FBI agent, being annoying, being, just that guy or girl that's just going to annoy people for the majority of the episode, and we know they're going to find a way to work around it. And Diggle and things are going on with him and his nerves and, whatever. But towards the end of that episode, we find out that Diggle actually have a nervous problem, and then Oliver, in an attempt to become a better father and trying to step into being a better man and being there for his son, he asks that Diggle takes over and becomes the new Green Arrow. Now, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't mind Diggle being the Green Arrow for a couple of episodes. I don't think it's permanent, obviously, because there's stuff going on with Crisis on Earth X. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with there, so I do not think that it's going to be permanent, but I would like to definitely see Diggle take on a couple episodes as the Green Arrow. And that's something that they should be doing for the Flash, giving Wally some time to be a Flash, be Kid Flash, do some things. I would rather than put Wally West right now on Legends of Tomorrow, put him on that show, because he'll be a lot better use over there. So that brings me into which episode is on top this week. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you my order. Now before I do that, I got to say that this is just strictly my opinion, and you may disagree with me, and that is okay. That is fine, but this is just how I see it and how I see of the winner for this week of being the best episode from the ArrowVerse. Now we're going to start with the winner. I think the best episode this week of the ArrowVerse goes to Arrow. That episode was amazing. I enjoyed my butt off with that episode. I think the writing in that episode was great. The character moments. I love the William thing going on with Oliver, and I like the dynamic of introducing this father-son thing there and bringing a new challenge for Oliver, and Oliver realizing that he needs to step down and let somebody else be the Green Arrow. And I don't mind, like I said before, I don't mind Diggle taking on that role. I really don't. I'm actually okay with that, and I'm interested to see how he's going to tackle that. He has a crossbow, so that's going to be interesting. So definitely for me, out of all the episodes this week, goes to Arrow. Coming in at number 2 for me has to be Supergirl. While I'm not a huge fan of season 2 of Supergirl, I only watched it halfway through and then just read all this other, synopsis of whatever happened. My mother watches that show more than I do, and she just kind of paraphrased everything. But I'm currently watching season 3 now, and this episode of Supergirl, like I said, was really awesome. Some really good character moments, some good development going on there, especially, like I said, with Kara, tackling her internal fears, tackling her regret. She misses Mon-El, things like that. There was tackling a lot of that stuff, and their introduction to a brand new character as well, and the way how they did it worked better for me. Number 3, coming in 3rd place for me this week, is Legends of Tomorrow. While it's the best episode of Legends of Tomorrow, it definitely was a fun episode of Legends of Tomorrow, like any other Legends of Tomorrow episode. But it had some slow moments and some things where, like, okay, I kind of want them to just get out of this world, get out of this area, and go on to another adventure or do something else. It was just that kind of moment for me. And definitely last for me is, for the worst episode this week of the ArrowVerse shows, definitely is The Flash. You guys know, I'm a huge Flash fan. You guys know that. You guys know this, but I gotta call wrong when it's wrong, and I gotta say messed up when it's messed up. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys and tell you, this week's episode of The Flash was the worst episode of the ArrowVerse shows this entire week. Why? Why are you asking? Why is this? Like I said, the random sporadic change within the whole entire feel of the episode, it felt like it was just trying to decide what it wanted to be, couldn't decide what it wanted to be. 1 minute it was happy, 1 minute it was sad, 1 minute you're supposed to be happy, and in a really, really serious moment, they're trying to throw these cheesy one-liners and these cheesy jokes, and Cisco and Barry having this, deciding, this with supervillain matches this, and it's like, that's not the time for that. And then, of course, what the writers are doing with Iris is not fun. I love Iris, and I love that character, but what they're doing to her is not right. They're messing up this character. They're not focusing on this character, not focusing on developing positive things with Iris. They're messing her up. They're messing up Wally. They're not focusing. I'm not saying you have to focus on Wally, but there are so many opportunities in that episode to give Wally a time to shine. Even so, if you're not going, and I don't want to hear that it's, they can't decide what they want to do with Wally. That's not the case. You had 2 seasons to figure that out. Okay, you had season 2 and you had season 3 to figure that out. We got introduced to Wally in season 2. So we had a whole season and a half to figure out what you wanted to do with that character. You tell me by this point you can't figure out what you're going to do with one of the best Flashes in comic book history, Wally West? I'm going to a bit of a rant, but it's just bothering me what they're doing to Wally. It's just not right. I understand it's a show is mainly focusing on Barry, and I get that. I get that. But if you're going to sideline Wally, give him a better outlet to really showcase what he can do. Put him on Legends for a couple of episodes. They can use a speedster. Everyone can use a speedster. Put him on another Earth or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Give him a couple flashback episodes. I'm not saying they're not going to do that, but as far as this episode is concerned, this episode really showed how much they're sidelining and just throwing water at Wally right now. That episode was, they just disrespected the mess out of one of the best Flashes ever, Wally West, man. Through that episode, man. They didn't give him proper development, and there's just so much stuff. The whole counseling thing was fun. The marriage counseling, that whole idea was fun. But I did laugh at some moments. You saw my reaction. I did laugh. There's some moments too. And then even with the suit as well, I understand they were trying to showcase a lot of the gimmicky, features of the suit. But you don't need all of that stuff. Okay? Why do you need an iron Flash suit to be shooting lightning out? You don't need that. Why couldn't Barry phase out the suit? Why couldn't Barry phase through these? Why couldn't he just do this? There's so many questions that this just doesn't make any sense, and there's other YouTubers that went into full detail ranting about this. But to me, all of those reasons is definitely why this week's episode of The Flash was the worst episode hands down. So there you guys have it for the first episode of ArrowVerse Showdown. If you guys agree with me, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you didn't agree with me as well, please also let me know. I'm interested, sorry, to hear what you guys have to say about this matter. If you agreed with me, like I said, let me know. If you didn't, let me know as well. Don't forget to check out the Discord server in the description box below if you want to hop on Discord and talk further about this with me and some other people as well. I'm looking forward to next week's episodes and seeing who will be the winner of next week's episode on ArrowVerse Showdown. Thank you guys for watching. Clockmaster out. Yo, thank you guys for watching this video. If you are new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe by pressing that button right over there. And if you want to help support the channel financially, go ahead and visit my Patreon page by clicking that button over there. And don't forget to check out these brand new videos down below.